Hi everyone, Maryann here, Revealing Light Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. How are you? Wherever you are in the world when you're watching, a huge shout out to you. It's Monday morning here in Australia, and I've come off the back of a very busy weekend, babysitting my grandson and generally celebrating middle son's birthday. And yeah, it's been a lovely family-oriented weekend. I know there's a lot going on in the world. I feel it. I'm aware of what is happening in this. What I see as a jostling for power. It is very much a battle between the acceptance of the rule of law, the acceptance of facts, of the truth. This battle for clarity around the truth. Very much a battle where you'll have one side seeking to muddy the waters, to create this illusion around the facts, and the other side fighting to maintain that rule of law, that balance of power, that, well, let's just say democracy. We see that very much playing out in the US with the multiple indictments of the former president of the US and now criminal defendant Donald Trump, who, broadly speaking, lots of charges leveled at him, but we have standing out fraud and obstruction of the rule of law. And, you know, you can narrow those things down. Seems to be a repeating pattern with him. So today I want to look at being aware of what's going on, look at what we're manifesting on what is known as Lionsgate, which is the 8-8 portal. It is where the spiritual star Sirius, which is associated with spiritual awakening and ascension, is associated, or is in alignment, I should say, with the Earth and the Orion constellation. And that is said to open up a portal. When you add to the sun being in Leo, the lion, we have astrology and numerology coming together, 8-8. It is most powerful at the 8th of August. So hence we have 2023, where we're looking at this year. It happens every year. Okay, so when we look at the numeral 8, if you turn 8 on the side, it is the infinity symbol, isn't it? Numerologists associate the number, or I've always associated the number 8 with entrepreneurship and abundance, wealth, achievement, success. And then you add this portal opening with Sirius, the fixed star, the brightest star in our night sky, our spiritual star, if you like. It's not the North Star. The North Star is Polaris, but Sirius is our spiritual star. When that aligns with the Earth and the Orion constellation, it is thought, astrologers and spiritualists have put forward that there is a portal open on this particular day, and that portal is associated with words like auspicious, lucky, manifesting. What are we manifesting? Transforming and spiritual expansion. I took a brief look at the astrology chart of the US. I'm going to be pulling cards, but I do want to just illustrate this huge battle that is going on between the detail, service to others, the greater good, the collective, and what I see as the last gasp of Pluto in Capricorn. Remembering Pluto's retrograded back into Capricorn. But let's just have a look at this chart. Obviously, specific to Washington, D.C., you'll see the different houses. However, wherever you are in the world, the planets in the signs are going to be the same. It will just be in different houses. But let's have a look at this Washington chart. Okay. Alrighty. So, as I said, I'm not going to spend too long on the chart, but you don't have to be an astrologer to, if you are broadly aware that blue lines mean harmony and in the flow with each other, and red lines mean opposition and conflicts. It's not hard to see the huge conglomeration of conflict and opposition, particularly squares, these red lines here, the squares between these powerful, the moon, our soul, the emotions, the moon, Jupiter, expansion, Uranus, unpredictability, all still in Taurus here in the 6th house over Washington, which of course is public service. And it's also our work, our day-to-day routines, and our health as well. In Taurus, a fixed sign there for the long haul, thank goodness. But look at what is happening as these squares shoot off up to the sun in Leo. There with Venus. Venus is Taurus's ruler. In the 9th house, philosophy, higher thinking, logic, law, learning. We're learning about ourselves as much as anything else. We're learning about human nature. We're learning about the unpredictability of humanity, of human nature, and the unpredictability of what happens when we ignore the consequences. And I'm thinking climate change. I'm thinking of our politics, our body politic. I mean, it is just so divided these days, whether you're in US or very much looking at the question of whether we want our democracies to survive. And if we do, what are we going to do about that? Whether we want our free world to survive, or do we want authoritarian leaders? And if what are we going to do about that? And you've got this self-interest here, the power, the fossil fuel lobbies, the countries that have grown very wealthy on that. They're not wanting to give that up. And so we have a nexus existing between some countries like Russia, Saudi Arabia, China, and of course, some members of the Republican Party, in particular, the former president, criminal defendant Trump, over the weekend has called for the ceasing of funding to Ukraine, just handed over to Russia, and has earlier last week or late last week threatened the prosecutors, threatened anyone that comes after him. And we see now that going back before court, the Department of Justice in America, I'm assuming is going to get a gag order on him, because you cannot, any other defendant would have just been thrown in jail for that. Bail conditions revoked, in you go. But we're dealing with, unfortunately, a person that became president of the US and then pretty speedily was, I might say, kicked out at the next election, booted out at subsequent elections. He's a multiple-time loser, but he's also quite a dangerous person. So we have this tinderbox in the US. We have the ongoing war in the ongoing invasion of Ukraine, and Europeans not knowing, particularly the Baltic states, not knowing what's going to be lobbed at them next. Sweden and Finland are rushed to join NATO, and Poland is now getting Belarusian helicopters flew into Polish airspace, and the Wagner mercenaries, Putin's own private army headed by Prigozhin. God knows what they're up to in Belarus on the Polish border. So we've got training exercises of the Russian fleet in the Baltic Sea. So much uncertainty. Add into that the economic downturns post-COVID, the high cost of living and inflation, and add further into that climate change, and we've got some problems. But here we can either tackle them together, or we can allow despots to do their best to overrule democracy for their own personal power plays and ends. So we have here in astrology this conflict there. And when we have this conflict, it's like somebody's got to break through. If you've got a conflict, two sides going at each other, somebody's got to come out on top. And of course, that's where you get achievement. So we are in a pretty unstable time. And of course, I have hope that we will come out on the other side stronger and more reformed where we need to be reformed. Our democracies will be stronger for this. On the 8th of the 8th, the Lionsgate portal, we have a chance to manifest what we want. We have the blue lines, the harmonious flows here again with the moon, Uranus, and Jupiter. Accelerated change. I just want to say that with a high level of the collective in there, the collective soul, accelerated change, and a chance during that most tumultuous time to learn, evolve, and ascend. And so Lionsgate shows us there are some possibilities here for spiritual evolvement if we want to manifest that. So we have here the trines here to Virgo, Mars, Mercury, communication, warlike communication as well, but also Virgo in our earth sign, our sign where we're going to see self-sacrifice, hard work, the facts, the details. Virgos are known for wanting to operate on the details. So we get this incredible pace of change being anchored down to let's look at the detail. We have to find the detail. And then you get the conflict here with the logic, the higher thinking, the education, the law. In fact, the 9th house is associated with Sagittarius and, of course, can be associated with the law. So we get multiple factors coming in here, which to my viewers, you all understand this. I go down here to our old friend Pluto. Pluto is trining here the moon, Uranus, and Jupiter, saying back in Capricorn, we've got some work to do. We've got to expose the corruption. Pluto moves back into Aquarius, the sign of the collective, what's good for the many, in January 2024. So it's here back regressing just to remind us that we need to work out what the truth is. We need to focus on the details. We need to put to bed this illusion and delusion. We've gone off track a little bit. I'm speaking in the collective here. Portions of the collective have gone off track a bit. And we get down here to Neptune in Pisces, where something is coming into form. It can either be, what are we bringing into form? It can be either or. And we get this opposition up here to Mars in Virgo. Thank God for Virgo, because we're taking greater action on bringing forward the detail, the truth, the facts. And that will help us bring something concrete, something good for democracy into form. And we have our old friend Saturn in Pisces, anchoring us down, helping Neptune, is opposite Mercury in Virgo, meaning we have to work hard for the facts. It doesn't come easily. There's going to be some oppositions to the facts, but that's okay. Pluto is sextiling Neptune in Pisces, again, showing us where the corruption is, and there is a sextile from Neptune up to, it looks like Uranus there. Very hard to see properly without blowing this chart up. But you can see from that on the 8th of the 8th, this Lionsgate portal, our opportunity to manifest, to keep going with this hard work. Doesn't matter wherever you are, there's going to be conflict, but from great conflict, you will get something being formed, something good being formed, and we will have achieved a lot if we can get through this unstable period through recognizing the truth, through focusing on the facts. And for those of us who are highly dedicated to living a spiritual life, to taking these opportunities to on the 8th of the 8th to manifest what the future we want to see. And if enough of us do that, we're going to be helping the stars, helping the universe, helping our higher realms, because it is a battle here on earth at this time. And we only have to look around to see that truth and clarity. That's what we are manifesting at this time. So for why? For our evolution, for our survival, but also for our learning and spiritual ascension. It is a very karmic time. So 8th of the 8th, what should you be doing? Again, you can break it down and manifest. If you want abundance, manifest abundance on the 8th of the 8th. Meditate and ask for what you need, for what you want to envisage, visualize what you want to happen. And for the world, visualize peace. Visualize the facts being known and accepted around criminal defendant Trump. Visualize the ending of illusion and delusion. All right, let's take a look at what the secret shaman or the shaman's dream oracle wants to tell us, and then we'll follow that up with the Art Nouveau tarot and the Thoth deck. Okay, so what are we actually, because this portal is open for a few days either side, but most potent on the 8th. All right, what are we manifesting? The 8th, Lionsgate portal. What are we manifesting? What are we manifesting? Feast of plenty, choices and their consequences. That's exactly where I started. It's always good to start at the beginning because, as T.S. Eliot said, you sometimes don't know what the beginning is until you've done the journey and you reach the beginning once again, and then you see that place for the first time. Feast of plenty, choices and their consequences. What's going to be? Reminds me very much of the Two of Swords, a crossroads. Very much a tipping point here. What are we manifesting, please, Spirit? What are we manifesting for Lionsgate? And of course, there's the bee there. The bee, the worker bee, maybe a little Virgo symbol, and we get the crystal here, this higher energy vibration. What are we manifesting? What are we manifesting on Lionsgate, please? Show me. And this was traditionally a time, what civilizations did, particularly in Egypt, is around manifesting plenty, abundance. Okay, so what are we manifesting on Lionsgate this year, please? Lay of the land, ancestral wisdom. I always like it when these cards come up because I feel, we've all been in these situations before. If you believe in reincarnation, we come in here to learn, but we have lived past lives. There's also what my ancestors went and fought in world wars. My ancestors have seen this battle play out between two forces, and it gave us post World War I and World War II. It gave us the freedom that we enjoy today, that you and I enjoy today. So, lay of the land, ancestral wisdom, choices and their consequences. It's like we've all got this inbuilt with our ancestors, this inbuilt knowledge of the wounds and how they occurred, and also this knowledge of wisdom. Sky bridge, possibility for union. Now here we get to the portal 47. There's of course that adds up to 11. I've been seeing both those numbers a lot, as well as 222. So we have a number 20 here. We have a 7. 2023, 4 and 3 is 7. 7 is very much about learning and notches on the belt and spiritual learning and ascension. And 47, our foundations. And 1111, of course, or 11 is a angelic number and a portal in itself. So Skybridge, the possibility of union on the 8th, what are we manifesting? Now, whether you agree or whether you don't, astrologers, New Age astrologers believe that the Lionsgate portal is a chance for spiritual awakening and ascension and evolution. Skybridge, the possibility of union. What's at the base of the pack? We have horn cactus, resourcefulness. I think when we're under this kind of turmoil, we find those resources. We see the heroes emerge, people who roll their sleeves up and get things done and present us with the facts. Virgo and Mars and Mercury in Virgo. The facts matter. Heart home compassion, we're all being called upon. Where it doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. Do you have compassion? Can you walk a mile in someone else's shoes? Because if you can't, if you do not put yourself on that side, you're being, I don't know how else to describe it, inauthentic. Sky dancers, surrender. Surrender to what? Surrender to what? Sacred covenant. We are writing this agreement, a new agreement at this time. All right, let's take a look at the Art Nouveau, Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. Let's take a look at how can we manifest? How? We've looked at the what, let's look at the how. How can we manifest a more abundant, a more secure, stable, prosperous, fair future for all? How can we manifest abundance on the Lionsgate 8823? How can we manifest abundance? The sun, happiness. I've been thinking a lot. I mean, it's quite well known that you can't access or be helped by the higher realms if you're spiraling downwards in worry and fear. Happiness and joy take you higher and allow even your passed over loved ones, allow them to contact you and be around you, allow your spirit guides to be stronger around you. If you believe in angels, God, whatever you want to name, Great Spirit allows that flow of abundance to come through when you are positively oriented. And so what you can do on Lionsgate 88, and I'll be doing, just having a day where I encourage happiness and joy and optimistic and positive emotions. We've got to try looking at things in a different way, understanding that this is a time where some things have been suspended in animation. I just want to say, in a trance-like state. if you feel like you're walking in that trance-like state, well, you could be forgiven, because this is very much a time of conflict that we all feel. But the sun here associated, this is Leo's card, and of course the sun is in Leo, strides forward, does not allow anything to stop him or her striding forward, looking at things in the other way, in from another point of view. This is a very spiritual time. The battle, the ever-present battle, the devil card, greed, attachments. You can't really be fully happy if you're attached to anything that's weighing you down, and you keep going over the same things again and again and again and again. Where's the room for other things to come through? Now, in the past position, we've got juggling, perhaps taking on too much, perhaps complicating things, perhaps not looking after ourselves, perhaps also needing to make a decision. Which ship is coming into shore? This started a long time ago, moving up to an incredible period in our time that we live in, where we have these big major planetary shifts. Pluto from Capricorn to Aquarius. We have the death card in the sky, the potential to end something. End someone's, I think of Putin marching into Ukraine. I think of what's going on in Africa, with regimes being propped up or toppled by the Wagner mercenaries. Again, why? Resources, mineral wealth. It's all about this plundering, if you like. But it is a death, nevertheless, because we have accelerated climate change. We simply cannot go on the way we are going. How are we manifesting? The King of Pentacles. Again, how do we manifest? The King of Pentacles can be, well, Pluto, can be the end of, well, very much telling me that Americans are manifesting the end of anyone who puts themselves above their constitution and attempts a coup. People say, how do I not fear that he's going to win the 2024 election? Because I have faith that that's what you're manifesting, the downfall of this very, very corrupt former president and now criminal indicter. Abuse of power, looking close to home. Are you abusing? What are you abusing? What are you sabotaging? I just heard sabotage. Are you sabotaging your dreams? How do we manifest? It's about getting back on track with the North Node in Aries. This is a new beginning. And that North Node, I think, on that chart very much is prominent at this time around new starts, new beginnings, new roads to travel, whether that's for the collective, for countries in particular, or for peace, or for in your own personal life. You've got a chance for a new beginning, and we get hope. How do you manifest? Three most important cards in this reading. The Sun, happiness and joy. How do we manifest? The Star card, the brightest star in the night sky, closest to the sun. Your intention. What's your intention? And this is really lovely, because I'm seeing that we want to stop abuse. And really, it can be abuse of any sort. And with this death card, we've got a chance of bringing that to an end. Here we have the clarity in the hopes and fears. One side, hopes, the truth is valiantly emerging, quickly emerging, and it is. The other side, hopes, it doesn't. Hopes to submerge the truth. And remember, with that Neptunian and Saturn in Pisces influence, what is coming into form? Either it's a better world or it's not. And we get the Empress card, abundance. How? So bringing to an end what you're attached to, or at least on Lionsgate, putting aside those habitual patterns, can be physical or mental or worry or fear, putting those aside and focusing in on happiness, joy, and manifesting abundance, because the Empress card is the outcome and she is abundance. Let go of what is lost. What do you let go of the past, and allowing those two cups, which is unity, coming together to flow forward and rebuild, not rebuild, build. This is the opportunity that we have. So what are you manifesting? Pushing through your disappointment, looking at that cup that is being given to you, compassion, helping others, understanding the karmic debt. We have the Emperor, Aries, North Node coming out more and more in my readings. And people think, oh, that's the president. No, it's not. It is a conglomeration of 4 kings. It is you. It is the archetype for you. You having control, you starting anew, you having the wisdom to know where you want to step next, you being in control. And we have the Queen of Wands. She is the most beautiful in the tarot. She comes forward with passion and motivation and courage. And 9 of Pentacles, independence, abundance, and our higher selves, the past and moderation. I see with Jupiter, the moon, and Uranus there in that 6th house, another thing that we are manifesting. We're recovering from loss, and we're manifesting moderation, temperance, and healing, luck, and abundance there with Jupiter. So reading wouldn't be complete without bringing forward the Thoth deck and having a look at what can we learn at this time. So we've looked at Lionsgate, and I want to look at what do we need to remember as we're manifesting the future we want to live on the 8th of the 8th. What is it that we need to remember? What is that little voice of wisdom in our ear? What is it that will help us? What are the learnings that will help us manifest the abundance that we so want? Peace, abundance, strong democracies, freedom. What is it that we need to learn? The Princess of Discs, moving forward, taking that step forward with one pentacle. It's not the king, it's not the queen. It's like maybe moving away from that greed and settling for a bit less, but settling for so much more beyond money. We get the Moon card. Civility, society, stable societies versus anarchy and violence. The soul. Our soul will thrive. We'll become more abundant if we remove the attachment to greed and money and start looking at where wealth lies in different areas. The Hermit, it is time to review. We are moving through that dark tunnel. However, the Hermit carries the light. And what is on this 8th of the 8th? Sirius, the brightest light, the spiritual light in our skies. When people think, oh, yes, ascension, evolution, spiritual evolution, they neglect to think of how you get there. You get there through battle. You get there through hardship. You get there through turmoil. and you start to see that you are the creator. We get the Three of Wands in the past, virtue. That I like that. That tells me that we've learnt a lot. We've done a lot of work already. Otherwise, we wouldn't get to this point where the truth is emerging, where Pluto is doing his job. And we get temperance, moderation. Not being so hard on yourself and spiraling down and thinking all is lost, all is lost. I don't abide that because I still have that hope. And we have the 10 of Pentacles. Again, there was 1 pentacle and now there's 10. True abundance is not just money. True abundance is, how do I describe it? It's the connections. Sometimes we fail to see them. We become complacent. And we don't really see that a conversation with someone is wealth, is of value. A special conversation, creating a family memory is abundant. It's wealth. It's of value. Pushing through and doing the big long hike when you thought you couldn't do it is wealth, is abundance. This age of social media has taken our eye off what is really important. We have in some ways forgotten how to live abundantly. The Princess of Wands, passions, motivations, the Four of Pentacles, power, the power of you as the creator. And let's take one more, the Three of Pentacles, clarifying the work that came up, the work that needs to be done. We're doing the work. And just the Thoth deck will always throw you a spanner in the works. We get the 10 of Cups, being satiated, having enough. But in other decks, it's about love. It's getting that 10th cup. It's about family. It's about love, unconditional love. The Thoth deck says, well, how are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with the real meaning of love? Or are you going to make a pig of yourself at that table? So that's my reading for Lionsgate 8-8, a little bit different today. I'll come back later on in the week and we'll look at some pretty hard political questions, and we'll look at what's going on, particularly at this the tumultuous time that America is having, and indeed in Australia as well. We've got some pretty tough crossroads there, with the voice referendum to change our constitution to give the Indigenous peoples of this land a voice. Very divided population over that, whether or not we want to change the constitution, or do we need to, or should we? And of course, who can forget what is happening in Ukraine, Russia, the Baltic countries, Europe, the UK? Who can forget all of that? What is occurring in Africa with the coups that are happening there, and of course underpinned by Putin, the wolf in sheep's clothing when it comes to Africa. All right, I'll leave it there, and I'll be back again later. Remember, on the 8th of the 8th, happiness, joy, optimism. That's what you have a chance, or let's say it can't do any harm to, on that day, set your intentions, ask for what you want, and manifest the abundance that you want to see in your life. Okay, bye for now.